I'd like to talk to you about purpose. There's the big purpose, the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? And then there's our own individual purpose. What is the purpose of my life? Why am I alive? Why am I having these experiences? Everything has a purpose in life. We look around us, in the house, we have pencils. Their purpose is to make marks on a piece of paper, to write, to draw. The car, its design is to move things and people from place to place. You can have a sports car, create so much excitement, or you have a van that's, just throw the kids in and drive them off to the soccer match. But there's always a purpose for everything, and if that purpose stops being fulfilled, you get rid of that thing. So if purpose is so important, what is the purpose of us? What is our purpose? We've seen what can happen when a person, a kid, ends up feeling they have no purpose in life. They're just useless. They don't understand what their purpose is. They can go to the extent of just doing really tremendously evil acts. Pick up a gun and go to the school and kill a whole bunch of kids and teachers. Purpose is really important. The thing is, the purpose of any particular thing or ourselves is not determined by itself. The purpose of something is always determined by the creator of that thing. So we look around the world and we can see the most amazing creation. We look around and we see the beauty and majesty of the mountains, of the forests, of the oceans. We see the most incredible animals and fishes and just so much stuff around us. We look out into the sky and we see the universe stretching on and out and out. And more scientists are coming to understand that this incredible balance and organization that exists in the universe is not accidental, that there has to be some real intelligence behind this creation. Many people call this creator of the universe God or the vortex or eternal spirit or prime force, or there's so many different names out there. But in Christianity, we call that intelligence Heavenly Father. And this is a much more personal realm. And also it gives us a clue about the purpose of the creation. What is the purpose of creation? What is the purpose of my life? We can get a hint of that from this name, Heavenly Father. So first of all, let's go into what motivates people to create things. Many times it's purely practical. Somebody created the wheel because he wanted to be able to move things more easily. Somebody created a pencil because he wanted to make some message or art or draw. Other times there's this desire to create something beautiful. We look out and we see the beauty of the universe and we feel motivated to create something of beauty ourselves. But in every case, there's a sense of need. There's a motivation to do it. There is a sense of satisfaction when you've created it, when you've finished it. But there's also a sense of joy. It brings happiness, right? When you create a picture or a work of art, initially there's the idea in your brain, in your head, and that brings a kind of a sense of excitement and of joy. But then you actually create this painting or this statue or whatever it is, or a house or something. You create it and you look at it and you feel satisfaction. And the more beautiful you've made it, the greater the satisfaction. But most importantly, you have this sense of joy. There's a joy there. So we can say that really joy comes from creating. But it also comes from something else. There's this thing called love. What is love? But it's really a sensation that you feel in your heart. When you look at the creation, you can love the creation. Oh man, I so love that vista. Just look at that valley. It's so beautiful. I just love it. But then there's a greater joy and a greater love that comes from, say, a living being. Many of us have pets. and you can love your little pet kitty or dog, and because that critter is alive and it can return that sense of joy and love back to you. You love a dog and the dog gets all happy and it's like so much fun. It's just so much joy comes from that. But even greater joy comes when you start to love something that is more equal to you. Loving a person can really bring joy. Many times people have been asked when they get towards the end of their life, what is it that makes you feel that you have actually been a success or brings you the greatest satisfaction? Older people realize it's the sense of love. I loved my wife and had such a beautiful life with her. It gave them a purpose. It gave them happiness. So love and happiness kind of go together, love and joy. So you can say that the greatest love comes from having a created being, a person, another person like yourself, that you can love, your wife, your husband, most especially your child or your parent. This love is really, it's a driving force, and people would actually give up their lives for love. You thought about that, right? Love is actually the one thing which is stronger than life. So when we think about that, and then we go back to the thought about the creation being created by this amazing intelligence that we call God and we call Heavenly Father, we begin to see that God, who created us in His image. Actually, let's just talk about that for a moment. In Genesis, it talks about God creating the universe. It goes through the 6 days of creation, and on each day He created something, and it was good. He was happy. He found joy from that creation. When He got to the 6th day, He created man in His image, and it was very good. God was very happy with His creation then. So let's think about this for a moment. God is the origin of all things. God created the creation. Heavenly Father created us in His image. He created us as His children, in other words. The most essential aspect of God is heart. It's love. Heart is the impulse to love an object and is the fountain and motivator of love. Heart. It's the nature of heart to seek an object to love. This nature of heart is God's motive. It was the motivation that pushed God to create. He was all alone. He needed the creation. He needed somebody to love. He needed an object of love. Somebody that could be on an equal standing. That's why He created us in His image. He created us to be the object of His love, to freely receive His love, and to freely give that love back. So there could be this incredible give and take of love. Love is not a one-way thing. Love does not just happen, I love that. Love really brings joy when it is two-way. You love a person, they love you back. You love a cat, it loves you back. You love the creation, it gives you beauty back. It's a two-way thing. So God created the universe to eventually bring about mankind. He went through all these levels of creation and then eventually created man. We were the latest and highest form of the creation. We are there to be the objects of God's love and to give that love back to Him. This is the joy and happiness of love that is really the purpose of life. It's really very simple. The purpose of life is joy. Purpose of life is love. And how does that come back down now to the individual? What is my purpose? My purpose is to be an object of God's love. Now, God created each one of us totally uniquely. And we can find so many things that we can do. We are co-creators. God created us in His image. We are to create. Each one of us has so many unique aspects, but it all springs from love. When we can freely and openly receive God's love, then we can freely and openly give that love back. We can actually find our purpose, my individual purpose. We each have so much to give. We have such unique gifts that we can use for the betterment of mankind. It can be something grand, something small, but to us it's really so important because it's our purpose. We can be a teacher, we can be a driver, we can be a builder, we can do anything. As long as it's really fulfilling our purpose and coming from within, we are acting out and using the gifts that we have been given by God for the sake of others, for the sake of mankind, and by so doing, helping to build a better world. May God bless you.